Discovery of the Great Water Passage from ancient India to ancient Shu. Reveal the truth about Sanxingdui and Jinsha civilizations in Sichuan, China. Episode 3. There are many articles and evidence written by people on the internet that Sanxingdui people are people, so I will not go into details here. The fact that Sanxingdui people came from ancient India can be proved by a wider range of common sense experience, open, professional, common sense, and concealed by expert officials, etc. Let me make a few inferences based on common sense. 1. Thousands of Asian elephant tusks were unearthed from the Sanxingdui and Jinsha sites. Sichuan has never recorded the life of elephants, and archaeology has never discovered any of that, while India has always had many elephants. 2. Thousands of seashells were unearthed in Sanxingdui. Many years ago, Japanese scholars identified them as coming from the deep sea of the Indian Ocean. Many such seashells have also been unearthed in Yunnan. 3. The cultural relics unearthed in Sanxingdui are mainly in ancient Indian style, that is, religious style. Twisted, exaggerated, bulging. There is an old saying, in India, bustling bazaars never wane. In China, simplicity is always the main refrain. Anyone who knows a little about Indian culture can easily distinguish cultural relics from ancient China and ancient India. Anyone who has seen Indian religious dances would immediately know that the bronzes in Sanxingdui are from ancient India, especially the movements and shapes of the hands. Exactly the same. 4. It is easy to understand that some cultural relics may come from the Mesopotamia. Ancient India and the Mesopotamia had trade exchanges for a long time. 5. In the archaeological excavations in the Chengdu Plain, except for the Sanxingdui and Jinsha sites, the bronzes unearthed in other places were from after the Eastern Zhou dynasty in China, and the level of craftsmanship is far less mature than that of the Sanxingdui and Jinsha sites. The river next to Sanxingdui is called Jian River, also called Duck River. It goes down 20 kilometers to Zhao Town, Jintang, and joins Tuo River. It is one of the three sources of Tuo River and originates from the middle section of Longmen Mountain in the north of Pingzhou City, Sichuan Province. Tuo River flows downstream for about 520 kilometers and merges into the Yangtze River in Luzhou City, Sichuan. It is a tributary of the left bank of the Yangtze River. Strangely, Tuo River is the most unique river in Sichuan. Its vegetation rate is the lowest among all rivers in Sichuan, and it is dry and suffers from serious soil erosion. However, the Sichuan Basin has a humid subtropical monsoon climate with lush vegetation. I don't know why Tuo River is like this, but this is precisely the reason why the people chose Tuo River. The other two tributaries on the left bank of the Jinsha River, the Yaolong River and the Min River, both originate from the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. The Tibetans and Chan people live in the upper reaches of the two rivers. They all have the tradition of worshipping mountain gods. This shows that the Tibetan people and the Chan people come from the Plateau Mountains, while the people do not have the custom of worshipping mountain gods. Because they used to live in the Indus River Plain, next to the Thar Desert, with a hot and dry climate and strong sunlight. The two tributaries on the right bank of the Jinsha River, Nyolan River and Heng River, are also areas where the people are concentrated. Among them, Weining Hui in Miao Autonomous County in Guizhou Province on the Nyolan River is known as the City of Sunshine due to its low latitude, high altitude, and long sunshine. The Torch Festival of the nationality in Hejian County, where the roof of Guizhou is located, is a national and tangible cultural heritage of China. Historically, Tuo River was the busiest for water transportation among the rivers in Sichuan. The boatmen's chants on Tuo River have been listed as an intangible cultural heritage of Chengdu. The Tuo River Basin is the largest and earliest cotton-producing area in Sichuan, and India is the origin of cotton. It is impossible to verify whether cotton cultivation in the Tuo River Basin was directly introduced from India. Tuo River is also known as the Flavorful River. The three cities downstream of it, Luzhou, Zigong, and Neijiang, produce wine, salt, and sugar respectively. Since humans settled in agriculture, salt has undoubtedly been the most important food. Zigong has produced salt since ancient times. It is doubtful whether Sangsingwe's immigration to the Tuo River basin has anything to do with salt. Neijiang is also called Sweet City. Luo Junsu, a Taiwanese sugarcane expert, stated in his Sugarcane Science, reed cane, an excellent variety of sugarcane, was introduced to Neijiang from India and has always been a unique variety in Neijiang. Neijiang is also the first base where Indian cane sugar technology was introduced to China. When I read this description by Luo Junsu, I thought this sugarcane variety and technology should have been transmitted by waterway, because the road to Shu is harder than reaching the sky. Why did the journey of thousands of kilometers on land have to be carried out to Neijiang? The geographical climate of Neijiang is not special at all. I consulted the information of Mr. Ji Xianlin, the late former professor of Peking University and director of the Institute of South Asia at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. Professor Ji's most important work in his later years was the history of sugar. Professor Ji wrote, at least in the pre-Han dynasty, China and India already had trade exchanges by sea. At least when the Mauryan dynasty in India was established, 4th century BC, it specifically refers to China's China, China, and China. The compound word Sinapada, which means silk, has appeared in India. This strengthened my previous judgment. India came through the sea route first. I have always believed that historians have underestimated the huge role of coastlines in the history of early human civilization. I think there was the Gulf civilization from the Indus River to the Persian Gulf first, and then there was the civilization in the Mesopotamia. The reason is very simple. In ancient times, it was easier for people to find food and safer when walking along the seaside. It was also easy for people to meet and communicate at the seaside. There is also a wrong view held by almost all historians in the world. Agriculture led to settlement, so water conservancy facilities were organized and built, and then countries and civilizations were born. In fact, this is putting the cart before the horse, just like when we watch the animal world. TV commentators always say that because they want to reproduce, animals have begun to mate again. In fact, we know that mating is just because they want to, because it feels good. Descendants come later. Civilization, here I only mean political civilization, is brought about by trade and war. Agricultural settlement brings domination and oppression. Of course, you can also say that we are the ruling civilization. Oppressive civilization. Welcome to continue watching the next episode, Episode 3.